Hello, thanks for joining us, and welcome to Ready, Set Library Marketing. My name is Henrietta Thornton, and I'm Infobase's Information Literacy Content and Strategy Manager, as well as a librarian, and thanks for joining. Okay, so today in the presentation, we're going to cover the items that you see here on your screen. First of all, knowing your goals so that you can make a marketing program that is directed towards a certain set of some kind of metrics that you decide. With the goals, you can make a real plan and try to stick to it. Trying to stick to it is the hard part. We'll also get into how to market your library to different audiences, and I'll cover those in a second. Then I'm going to show you some of the marketing materials we've created for our own products. So if you have, let's say, our films on demand, we have various items that you can use to get the word out about that. Not just films on demand, but our products generally. And then I created a bibliography and further reading list in the slides here, so you can have some homework, basically, afterwards, have a look at some library marketing blogs and articles. Okay, so back to knowing your goals. I quoted Terry Kendrick here, who's this library marketing guru, and Terry was quoted in an American Libraries article a few years back, saying that the first step in creating any marketing plan is knowing what your ambition is. I would say that's the first step in any marketing plan, not just for libraries, but the point stands. You have to know what you're aiming for in order to create steps to get there. And you can keep the acronym SMART in mind. SMART goals. I forget what they all stand for, honestly, but the first part is pertinent here. SMART goals should be specific and measurable. So when you're thinking about marketing for your library, think exactly what you want to do to get the word out, and attach metrics to it. So how will you know when you've succeeded? Or how will you know if you have more to do or should change course? You need to have specific and measurable goals. Okay, so the first part of any marketing plan, including a library one, is to, sorry, not the first part, the most important part is to let users know what is in it for them. That's the way to market anything. Tell someone what they can gain from it. So in the case of libraries, it's what the library has for you. You will want to clearly communicate to your users what the library has for whatever actions they need to take. So if they're students, here's what the library has for you so you can succeed better in your classes. Better again, you can find out what those classes are that the students are having a hard time with. Let's say you are able to find out that a lot of students at your school drop out of the calculus class, just for example. You will know that you need to push towards students, that you have materials at the library, whether they might be videos or books or articles, or maybe you have a tutoring center in your library, whatever it might be that can help the students who are having a hard time with something. You will need to let them know that you have help for them at the library. If it's faculty, you'll turn a different way, whether that's an academic library. And then if you're in a public library, you might know that your the patrons at your public library are very, very good users of videos, but they don't always use the databases so much. So maybe you need to push the databases. It's all about knowing who your patrons are and pushing towards them. And so let's say your patrons are heavy video users, like I said, but they're not using the databases. You let them know what the database has for them. You might have a database that has movie reviews, let's say, or some other purpose that you know, some other reason that you know the patrons would need to use the library databases and could benefit from them. Whatever reason it is, you let them know. Next, I have get others on board with communicating for you. So it's great to have ambassadors. That's really helpful, especially if they're peers. Students respond very well to hearing from other students what the library has for them, rather than hearing from necessarily a librarian or a professor. So try to get, I'm sure you know students who come into the library and faculty members who are very enthusiastic library users. get those on your side and let them know that you need to get the word out, and you'd appreciate if they would tell their fellow students about X item or service and let them do the legwork a little bit for you. I think of library marketing as the library's cover letter. And so think about a resume and a cover letter that you might prepare when you're looking for a job. The resume mentions kind of demographic information about you. So here's where I went to school. Here are the various degrees I have. Here are the jobs I had and the dates of them. Whereas the cover letter gets beyond those kind of bare facts and gets into a more personal tone, and most importantly, tells the reader of the cover letter, which is the employer, what's in it for them. If you hire me, here's what I can do for your company or your organization. Here's what I did before. That was, the best thing since sliced bread, and I can do it at your company too. And library marketing is the same. You leave out the kind of demographics that would be on a resume. So how many books you have in the library or how many articles you have in a database. Those are great, but they're not what would maybe convince a patron or a student or a parent to come to the library and use the material. Instead, you want to talk to them about, we have books, maybe you'll mention how many, but here are the books that are of interest to you. I know that you're a homeschooling parent, and we have this section of books that are wonderful for when you're developing your curriculum for at home. I know you're into car repair, and we have a section of books on that, and even maybe videos about car repair. I'm sure you get the idea. You find out what the patron needs and tell them how the library can meet that need. Okay, so I mentioned that I will talk about the audience that you might be serving, audiences. And there's different audiences depending on the type of library, and within library types, it varies too. So everyone is serving, students or patrons. So in a public library, we call them patrons, and in K through 12 and academic, it's students. And so you will need to have little sort of elevator pitches in your mind for when you run into a student or a patron to let them know what the library has for them, especially new materials that they might not know about yet. But don't forget that you can also push materials or services that have been around for a while, but that person might not know about. It doesn't really matter if it's not new, it might be new to them. Then you have other folks who are sort of another maybe step away. In an academic library, the faculty will be your users. And as well as that, they are important ambassadors to get on board for having students use the library. So if you have a service that's underused in your library, or a certain collection that's underused, or just it might be very well used, but maybe some students still don't know about it, it's great to let the faculty know. And if you have something like a newsletter that goes out from the library to faculty, that's ideal. You can always put material in there for them. But otherwise, just try to get some even flyers in front of them. So maybe pin some flyers in the faculty mailroom. If you have a faculty intranet, you could put material on there. Try to get yourself invited to faculty events by telling the organizer what's in it for them, of course. Administration is important as well. The administrators at your school, especially deans and maybe the president even of the college, or the director of the public library, whoever is at the top, they are often talking to outside stakeholders. So prospective students, parents, local business people may be sometimes at meetings with these library administrators. And if the administrator can drop in a few benefits of the library to the group that they're addressing, that would be great. So, if you know that your administrator at the library is going to visit the local Rotary Club, let's say, to help that person out by giving them material that they can bring to the Rotary Club about what the library has. Especially in a big library that maybe has, maybe a library system with many branches, or a large academic library. The director doesn't always know what you have at the smaller department level. So just give them something and help them out. Other librarians, of course. So again, especially in a bigger library, you may have colleagues who are working in a different department, maybe you're pretty siloed, but even if not, everyone can't know what everyone else is doing. So promote to your colleagues formally or informally what you're doing in your department and how it can help users. And well, I mentioned local businesses a bit before. I think that's an important constituency for public libraries. Let local businesses know what you have for them. You might even be able to visit them or arrange for them to have a sort of field trip to the library so that you can get them on board as users. And then lastly, here I have parents. I think it's obvious that, you know, K through 12 librarians will often serve parents in some way. But even at the and public libraries too, but even at the academic library level, you might be able to get parents on board and make them your ambassadors. I know myself as a parent of a college student paying quite a bit for my daughter to be there. And I'm a librarian, so maybe it's different for, you know, not quite the same for me as other parents, but I'm definitely looking at what the library has and how it matches my daughter's major and really relentless in my nagging that she has to use it because we're paying for it after all. So it could be helpful to get parents on board. And some ways to do that might be to put up information about the library in places where parents go on campus, like the bursar's office to pay, or in the back of the door of the dorms, you know, on move-in day when parents are there, setting their kid off on their new life. There, the parent will be helping the child move into the dorm, and if you have information on the back of the dorm bedroom door, it's right there when parents move in. Just anywhere on campus where you hear that parents could be. I've heard of a cool event too, and I think it was in the Texas library, and I hope that person is not listening and hearing me not really cite them because I forget which library it was, honestly. But they had a tailgate party when there was, you know, football games, I think, or some sports event at the library. I mean, at the campus. The library went along and had a table there and giving out material to parents and other people at the game, which I think is great. Just meet them wherever you can and promote your library then. Here's the bibliography to this to the slides here. Okay, so in a second, I'm going to move on to a demo of the Infobase marketing materials we have for you. But first, I wanted to remind you that you can contact us if you need help with marketing your subscriptions or just any help you need with your subscriptions at all. We have groups of customer success colleagues here who can help. And they have different email addresses for those groups depending on what kind of library you're in. We'll send you this slide deck afterwards, so you don't need to write this down now, but we have groups for public library K through 12 and academic libraries, and they will be happy to help you with your work. Okay, so let me move to a demo now of what we have at Infobase that can help promote your specific databases that you have with us. Just want to be ready to share the right screen. Just give me a second. Okay, so what you're seeing now is what we call our admin portal. And every library, the admin users of every library have access to a portal that shows the materials they have from Infobase. The URL is the same for everyone, admin.infobase.com, but then you would need to use your admin username and password to get in. And if you don't, excuse me, if you don't know your username and password, please contact us at the addresses you just saw on that slide. Once you get in, you will see a page like this. This is just a demo account, so it's not belonging to a particular library, but you would see your library's name and logo here. And then there's a lot of options in here. I'm just going to go through the ones that could be helpful with marketing. This library, this pretend library, has Learn 360, which is one of our video databases. And to market that, we have these items here called usage boosters. So I'm going to click on there and show you what there is. There are all tabs here that offer the various items for promoting Learn 360. We're on icons now. So here, I'm scrolling down. Here are icons that you could use on your library's website or your school's website, or in LibGuides if you have those. We also have search widgets. So you can set up a search box on your website. Students wouldn't have to go into Learn 360. They can just use the search widget right there. QR codes to use for promotion. Those would be great on bookmarks maybe, or stickers, or just anywhere. Students can use the QR code. Well, anyone, students and faculty, or whoever is using this can use the QR code to access the material. We have subject URLs too. So you can lead the users to specific collections within the material. Preview widgets. This is a video database, so we would have little snippets or previews of the videos using those widgets. And then we have these marketing materials here that are, you can see here, bookmarks, flyers, posters, that kind of thing, to help get the word out. These would be great to use, like I was saying before, on the back of the dorm door, or in the faculty teaching area, maybe the cafeteria. You get the idea. Going back here. And we have an educator guide as well. These are all free to users, admin users of our databases. As well, in this admin portal, we have here a button where you can download lists of your content. So here you would be able to export a list of all the content. And that's great for marketing purposes. So you could tell the whoever your users are, the library has this resource for you. Here's the content inside. You know that it's often hard to get users to try something for the first time. They can see the content themselves if they go into the database, but if they're not in there, you can at least give them a list of what's inside and hopefully entice them to go in their own time. We have MARC records as well, so that you can add our material to your catalog. And oh yeah, there's usage reports available here. And those could be sort of an indirect way to market the material. If you produce a usage report and you see that one of the Learn 360 videos is very heavily used at your institution, you might be able to promote it to users who are not using this database yet by saying, you know, other students at your school or faculty at your school have heavily used this video. Why not check it out? It's certainly a hit with other people. Here you go. So using usage that way. If you see too that certain items are not used as much as you would like, and you know that they could be useful to certain groups in the school, go ahead and promote them. You can, you know, lead the horse to water that way. You might see, for example, that you know that the students at your school need help with math. Let's just say, for example, they're doing I don't know, trigonometry, and it's the teacher's having a hard time getting the concepts across. You could always have a look in here and find a video on that, and push it to them just to get people in. And hopefully once they have seen the trigonometry video or whatever they came for, they might browse further and keep on using the other material. Okay, so that's our admin portal. And just a reminder, you get to it at this URL here. And if you don't know your username and password, please get in touch with us and we'll provide that to you. Okay, we also have calendars in some of our materials. And I think, here we go. This is Films on Demand, another of our video databases. And one of the items we have here is a calendar. So when you go into Films on Demand, there's a little hamburger icon in the top left. And when you click on that, there's various options, but the one I wanted to show you today is that we have a calendar. And this links various videos from within the database to different national months that are out there. Let's say right now, April is Financial Literacy Month. So if I click on there, you'll be able to see the videos that are related to that month, and so on for the other months of the year. So that's a great way to get material into people's hands. If you know that, let's say the student union is running an event that's about how to pay back your student loans, you can offer them videos on financial literacy that would help with that topic, as just one example. Okay, so that was the calendar. We also have LibGuides. Sorry, I'm going back and forth a little bit between these tabs. Here we go. Again, just an example, these are LibGuides created for our Credo material. So if you have Credo reference or a Credo Infolit core, there are LibGuides in here to help you promote the material. And so, for example, here, African American Studies in Credo, if I click on there, you can see this LibGuide that one of my colleagues has created. And there are all these various tabs in here that are related to African American Studies. And each one helps lead the user to Credo material on that topic. So you can help students of African American Studies or anyone just browsing who's interested in that topic and get your Credo material into heavier use at the same time. Let me go back here. I have a similar one in here for Films on Demand. And this one promotes the study skills and other like academic success materials within that database. These LibGuides are copyable. They're set as community guides, and that means that you can copy them and make them your own. You would, excuse me, you'd be able to add other tabs here, add maybe more Films on Demand videos that you want students to be able to see, or add a tab that lists books or articles at your library on the same topic. It's up to you. You can copy the LibGuide and make it your own. And then lastly, we have Zendesk help sites for our various databases. And here's the Credo one, but this is, again, just one example. So if you are having trouble using one of our databases, or you just want to know more about it, you can go into the Zendesk site. I usually find these sites by just Googling product name and Zendesk, so Credo and Zendesk, Films on Demand and Zendesk, and so on, and you'll find it that way. When you go in, there's a search box that you can use, but if you scroll down, you'll see the various items that we have prepared and made available to you. There's a lot here, but the one that I wanted to show you in relation to marketing is here, resources and promotional materials. And if I scroll down, I'm just going to click here, faculty engagement materials. As I mentioned before, it's important to get faculty on board with using the library databases and so on. I know that you know that. And here's one way. So I won't go through everything, but we have lists in here of, for example, the learning standards, the ACRL framework standard frames that are met by this material, and our other Zendesk sites have similar. So it's all about how this material can match your work needs and your workflow. Let me see what else is in here. We have the LibGuide listed, a PowerPoint that you can use. So if you are presenting Credo Infolit to faculty, here's a PowerPoint for you. We've done the legwork. Curriculum mapping, you get the idea. We have a lot of items in here that can help you get the word out about your materials. One thing I forgot to mention, just going backwards a little bit, let me go back to the admin portal. There is something else that I want to show you. Okay, here we go. So we're back to the Learn 360 admin portal. But this type of interface exists for our other products as well, not just Learn 360. This is just one example. I forgot to say that if you go into My Resources here, you can use here, product settings. And one of the options is integrations. So we have ways, and you can contact us to get help with this, to get material into your LMS and working with your proxy server or using a referring URL or whichever way you want the material to work. We have help for you here, and you can contact our customer success groups as well if you need help, technical assistance with getting that going. So with these items here, you'll be able to get our material into your discovery services. So, getting it into your users' hands that way, letting your users know about it by having it appear in the discovery service. That's possible using the authentication methods that we present here and that we offer help with. You will also be able to get from us links that will work in, say, an A to Z database list. A lot of our patrons have those on their sites. They'll have an A to Z list of all the databases they have at the library. And we have links that you can put there. So your material will be found by users in that way. And anything else that you want to do with the material, please get in touch with us. We want to help you to get your subscriptions into users' hands. It's the reason basically why the customer success group at Infobase exists, to help you use your materials and get it out there. So please let us know if there's any way that we can help you. I'm going to bring back up that slide for a second so that you can know who to contact. It is there. We have those public library K through 12 and higher education email addresses. Please drop us a line at any point if you wanted to maybe even just brainstorm marketing ideas that would work with your population. Please let us know, or any help that you need at all, please get in touch. And thank you very much for attending today.